Welcome, everybody, to the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast. I'm Paul Antonio.
I'm Fizza Dasani.
I'm Paula Viganalan.
I'm Zara Ali.
Our guest is Paul Antonio.
I was going to say,
Paul Antonio.
have to keep going after that?
So for our listeners, Paul Antonio is our audio engineer.
Yeah.
He's here every single time we record,
Yeah.
present for every episode,
Yeah.
and we want you to meet him.
Yeah. Cool.
Everybody say hi to Paul.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be the
Paul.
second Paul on the show. Like that. Like I go like right underneath you, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, because Paul Louis' nickname is Paul.
Everybody calls me Paul.
Oh,
I was
is that your Starbucks name?
Yeah.
Paul? Got it.
That was my Starbucks name. One time I had it at Jamba Juice, and the lady was like, "Your mama did not name you Paul." And I was like, then I had to explain the whole thing. And I'm like, you're making this harder than if I just told you my real name. Like, but yeah, every time anybody calls on Paul here, I always am like, what, me? No? Okay.
Was she not going to give you your drink?
I don't know. She was like, we have to use real names for our managers. And I was like, no, you don't.
True.
That's not a thing.
Whenever I see like on a dating app, someone's like Paula or like Paulina or something like that, I just instantly swipe the other way.
Yo,
I was like, we can't do that.
I dated a Paul in
Paul.
college.
You did?
And there was times when like in our dorm, our hallways, like people would leave the door open and he would pass their door and they'd be like, hey, Paul. And then I would pass and they'd be like, hey, Paul. And he would be like, you stole my name. And I was like, I wore it better.
You're like, and that was a point of contention in our relationship
And
the
then
entire
it was
time.
over.
That's cool. How was your guys' Thanksgiving? Now I feel like I'm hosting for realsies.
Guest host. We would love for you to guest host.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
guess
Yeah.
It was my birthday.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank
Happy
you.
belated.
26.
Sure.
Oh, see, I was trying to...
Guys, I don't
You
care.
ruined it. You were supposed to embrace it and be like, yes.
That's more of a Zara thing, right?
What are you talking about? I'm 27.
There you go.
27.
Forever 27. Yeah. That's what I'm going with.
I'd go to that store,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like it'd be higher quality.
Yeah.
I think so. Probably not made with slave labor, you know.
Everything's
Maybe.
made with slave labor.
I don't know. Maybe the hipsters made it by hand. I don't know.
Oh, so it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, because I feel like anyone who's 27 right now is probably a hipster. Right?
As I'm wearing my
So-
flannel. Thank you.
Is that what happens next year
No,
when
I'm
I turn
25.
27?
Yes, you're immediately going to become a hipster.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I was definitely a hipster when I was 27.
Really?
Yeah.
I was in the audience for
I
the
denied it, but
I was on the audience for the Burn with Jeff Ross, and they used to do like the enemy of the day, and the enemy of the day was hipsters, and I was wearing like a Goodwill sweater. Like I went to Goodwill because I'm like, I'm going to Hollywood tonight. I'm gonna buy a Goodwill sweater. So it was like the ugliest sweater, and he just looked at me after he said that.
You tried so hard not to be hipster.
I tried so hard. And now I use it as a credit.
so for our listeners, Paul is also a comedian.
Yeah,
He's also the king of the Inland Empire in California.
that's gonna give me shit if people hear it. They're gonna be like, "Who does he think he is?"
But the Inland Empire is heavily populated. I feel like they would come out in droves to see you.
And yeah, they do not. I used to do a monthly show at Flappers in Claremont, and it was a struggle.
The Brea Improv is that considered Inland Empire?
I think that's still technically OC.
Okay,
Yeah.
but like the border? Because whenever I do Brea, that room is packed.
Yeah.
It's like everyone from IE and that part of Orange County is very hungry for comedy.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should have done it the last time I did the Brea Improv because there were 70 people there.
Oh no!
Which sounds like a lot until you realize the room seats 500,000.
Yeah, yeah, that room fills a lot of people.
It's really big.
Yeah,
It's huge.
I was like, can you guys put up a curtain?
Kind of like Laugh Factory Long Beach.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
a really, really, really big room.
Do they ever fill that room? If it's not a celebrity comic
Yeah.
on the lineup, do they ever fill that room?
It's like an amphitheater.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know why. At least just put a curtain, like make it so that you could have it as 3 different rooms. Like, okay, this is our
Yeah.
small room. Like, just I'm a big fan of curtains, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at this point. Yeah, but
So you have them in your apartment?
I have a lot of curtains.
Ooh.
In fact, I live in a pile of curtains.
Oh no.
I don't live in an apartment. I'm just on a street corner
Living room.
in Koreatown. I'm outside the studio.
Oh, that's you in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's me in the parking lot.
That's
yelled
why
at-
they won't let us park there anymore.
You yelled at me for having my lights on because they were like shining right where you were sleeping.
I have been told I look Asian at night.
There's actually
Yeah,
a guy
there-
who lives.
The Asian homeless man that lives in the parking lot of where our studio is. So we film in Koreatown. Everything around us is very Korean. great food, great everything. And the homeless man is also a Korean man, and he's actually helped me on a few occasions. So like I'll slip him a $5 bill, and he seems very nice and peaceful and doesn't really bother anyone.
I mean, I've seen him about to fight someone once, but
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe they had it coming, you know? Like, I don't know the context or the backstory.
Maybe they dishonored Zara.
maybe he was
like,
protecting
not her.
me.
Slip him a 10.
But this seems to be like his territory, so I'm sure he's protective. So if he felt like any other homeless person was trying to commandeer his parking lot, he'd be upset.
Yeah.
In Utah, they have panhandlers licenses, so like every corner is taken by a different panhandler.
Wow.
They like organize it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or they could like build him a hut.
Yeah.
That could have been.
They did actually for a year or something they were able to get them housing and like a social worker. The last time I went back, they had their own Skid Row. Like it was bad.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's like a good a good thing to do is like find them housing.
Yeah, or something. This guy,
Like
so
low income.
the homeless guy outside one time, I was walking by and I guess my beard was longer, but he asked me, he goes, "What are you?" Like just like that. not trying to do a racist accent, but he was like, he's like, "What are you?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was just like, what ethnicity are you? I was like, "I'm Mexican." He's like, "Oh," he's like, "With your beard," he's like, "You look very Middle Eastern." And he's just like, he's like, "You should shave it." He's like, "Wait,"
no.
and then he asked me this. He's like, "Wait, are you Jewish?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, thank God." I was like, "Oh, he is anti-Semitic." So
Man, racist homeless guy.
You just paid a dude to be anti-Middle Eastern.
well, I mean, I
Was that guy?
yeah, it was
Was
that
it-
guy. I
it was
didn't
the
want to
same
out
guy?
you on this podcast, but you're
Oh,
supporting
wow. Okay.
anti-Middle
Here's
East.
the thing. He also like let me escape this parking lot after midnight because they chain it up and I couldn't get out. I was stuck. And he like came over and just helped.
He didn't want any Middle Easterns ruining the neighborhood.
Maybe.
You're in his house.
You were lowering the property value in his neighborhood.
Probably. Though I would argue that any homeless person on any street is lowering your property values. So
Yeah, but
I don't know.
He got a haircut, and I felt like he looked more stylish than me. And I was
he
like,
is a very handsome guy.
Yeah.
He's older, but like he looks like he used to be pretty hot.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. There's a story there for sure.
Yeah. People say, you know, how like some people are like, "Oh, Asian guys aren't hot." Like that's a hot
You guys,
GQ guy.
next
Who lives in a parking
podcast
lot.
guest.
Should we get the homeless
Get
guy to be on the next
in
episode?
here?
I mean, will he sit down with
Yeah.
us? Middle
Maybe.
Easterner?
"Hey, I'm
looking?
not Jewish,
Middle
so he will."
Easterner-esque.
that was his only. That's all he told me he didn't want. He's like, as long as there's no Jews in there. I was like,
Oh
Jesus Christ.
God.
We should
Yeah.
just grow
I
all our
haven't heard
beards.
that like an Asian anti-Semitic. I haven't heard that in ever.
Yeah, that's
Really?
that's
That's
interesting.
a fun name.
But you know, they say like
Jesus.
also maybe there's like a disproportionate number of amount of mental illness in the homeless community. So it's
Yeah.
just like, you know, I mean, he lives on the, you know, who knows what's going on.
I would have loved if he comes out and he's like, "No, I'm cool." He's like, "I'm completely healthy." He's like, "I just really hate these people." It's like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, at this point, do you blame it?
I know,
There's a
right?
lot of crazy people in LA, right? Yeah.
It's true.
It's
there
true.
are crazy people out here.
Where my family's from in Mexico is Guadalajara, which is in Jalisco. And what's crazy is there's a lot of Japanese people in there.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre when you go and they're only speaking Japanese and Spanish.
How did the Japanese make their way to Guadalajara?
There's a lot of like communities that are like, you would never expect them to like land in Mexico. But like there's a big German community in Mexico. And like, I think it's just like a hodgepodge of, because like Louis C.K. is from Mexico and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
There are
seen that.
Indians in Mexico.
There are. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of Indians in Brazil.
mhm.
I mean, there's
Indians
a huge
everywhere.
like Asian
Yeah.
population in Brazil as well. That's why we get like a lot of the fusion Brazilian steakhouses with sushi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like whenever a culture introduces itself to another land, the food is like the first thing to come out of it as like amazing art.
I love the Chinese restaurants that are also donut shops because they have the deep fryers. So they just like
Why
it's
not?
a thing in San Francisco too.
Okay, so like in India, all the ethnic food has like an Indian flavor
So
to it.
good.
The Italian restaurants, they're delicious. The Chinese food in India is like my favorite.
That's my
type of Chinese
favorite.
food,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, my dad makes Chinese food. So my dad actually ran away from home. We call it his gap year. And he
What?
Wait, what?
he ran away from. He was like 19 or something.
Back in Pakistan?
Back in Pakistan, yeah.
That's called going to college.
No, but he just had a gap. He didn't go to college. Like he waited, and then he just disappeared, and he ended up in some Chinese restaurant and learned how to cook Chinese. So,
So your dad was a rebel. That's funny because
Yeah.
like he's strict. He's a strict parent.
Does anyone find
He
it
knows.
surprising that my dad ran away and I moved thousands of
like-
miles away from home?
That's why I always talk to my dad about it, because he's like a second child like me, and he like left India. So anytime
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in California and you're in Utah, I'm like, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's not that bad at all.
That's
Yeah.
funny. He's like, he makes a killer broccoli beef.
He
You know?
does,
Oh, yeah,
actually.
really?
Yeah, great shrimp, great broccoli and beef, great chicken corn soup.
I just keep learning stuff about your dad. Like your dad's funny.
Yeah, he's fascinating and also one of the most annoying people in the world. But, you know.
Locks you out after 2 p.m.
Oh, I just snorted. we should do, and you know how like the most interesting man in the world, the most annoying man in the world.
Wait, so I'm still interested. So Guadalajara, let's go back to that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I was only there. I was there for like a month, like just chilling and meeting family and stuff. But I have a weird family story where like one of my grandparents, like the reason I'm so white is because my step grandpa was white, and like he kind of like raised me with my grandma, so like I came out like super whitewashed. But my OG grandpa that like lived in Guadalajara, like he was running for like state senate, like in
Oh, wow.
Jalisco, and he was like the favorite to win, and then he just got lung cancer and died because he used to smoke like 3 packs a day or something. So
Yeah, that'll do it.
yeah, so I went.
How old was he
So he was in his 40s. My mom was 7.
when he passed away?
Yeah, so I never met him.
Guys, don't smoke if you haven't learned that by now.
Exactly. So I went, but when I was over there, I was meeting that side of the family because I never met that side of the family. And they all have money just because like politics, and they were like involved in like the mango trade and everything. So, but what's crazy about like mansions in Mexico is they don't look like mansions from the outside because you don't want to show off your wealth. Like unless you're like in the cartel or something.
Yeah.
You know, like,
So are they just kind of like gated completely?
they're hidden. Like the one we went to, my mom's cousin, like her like spot, it was like 3 stories, but it was like behind like vines and stuff. Like it just looked like an old building, but you go inside and it's this beautiful house, like private library and everything.
Wow.
But
It's the opposite of Indian culture.
Is it?
It's like
Very
beautiful on the outside.
Ostentatious. and
yeah, but it's crazy
over the
because
top.
people come after you over there. Like it was one of those places where when I was over there, we got pulled over by the cops. Like we were in a taxi and we
Yeah.
got pulled over by the cops. And the cop looked in the back and we had our seatbelts on and everything. And he just looked and he's just like, they don't have their seatbelts on. And we were wearing our seatbelts. He's just like, they don't have their seatbelts on. So the taxi like driver turns to us and was like, all right, maybe like give them $30 each or whatever. So we gave him money and then he just drove away. Like the corruption in Mexico is ridiculous.
That's kind of how it is
Wow.
in India.
Yeah.
Like they'll just stop you and you have to have some money on you.
Mm-hmm. It's all bribes and stuff. I
We-
feel like, yeah, like that kind of links everybody is like, because everybody's, you know, there's all this talk like in politics about like people immigrating and coming over here illegally. It's like the people that are coming over here are legit just trying to escape like that life,
Yeah.
you know, where you could have your cousin, like his head lying on the road, like randomly. It's insane. But it's like, no, let's build a wall.
So there's a lot of cartel activity in Guadalajara.
Yeah, which is it's funny. I just got done watching Narcos Mexico, which I don't know. Have you guys ever seen
On
Narcos?
Netflix?
I haven't seen it.
I've seen Narcos.
Yeah.
I've seen like there's been 3 seasons, right? I think I've seen
3. Now they just released the 4th, which is
Okay.
Narcos Mexico. And what's
Okay.
crazy is Netflix sent out a scout last year and they killed the scout.
What?
Stop it.
You're
yeah,
kidding
and this
me.
was last year. Like the
What?
cartels killed the scout.
The cartels
How come we didn't
killed
hear
the
about
talent
this?
scout. They killed the talent scout that Netflix sent.
hmm
How come we
'Cause he
didn't
was
hear about
scouting.
this?
So like they like to
know.
use legit like for the original seasons they use like some of Pablo's mansions and stuff. But in Mexico it's still like that's why it's funny at the end of Narcos Mexico where they're like, and then it started this whole war, and I was like, no, we're still in that, you know,
Yeah.
like
So with Narcos, the season 3, it ended with like basically the Mexico was taking over the cartel, or the attention was moving on because of the downfall of Colombia.
yeah.
The attention of like cocaine and the whole drug movement was moving towards Mexico.
Yeah.
So that's what started Narcos Mexico, is what you're saying?
Kind of. So I feel like the biggest misconception is like when you look at all these people like in South America and like Mexico and you're like, these people are evil, they're making drugs. It's like, No, without a supply, there's no demand, or without a demand, there's no supply. So like the demand in the United States, like literally the United States need for drugs is what's fueling everything,
Yeah. The problem is that the drugs are getting more potent and stronger and more pure. So it's causing, like, I feel like we're back in the 80s now when it comes to just drug overdoses.
Yeah. And these are like people that are taking like medical grade, like tranquilizers and stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you think what could be some resolution here? Like, do you think making drugs legal could sort of drain the cartel?
Or maybe people need to not do as much cocaine? I don't know.
But like, I just, everyone's an adult.
Yeah, it's just,
and I wouldn't like say, hey, go out and do this, but
I think a lot of these things, like
it being a crime just makes it dangerous.
It does, but also it's dangerous anyways. Like the fact, like if people just paid attention to their health, with like in terms of like diabetes and like obesity and stuff, our healthcare system would not be as
well.
Stressed.
There's not an emphasis on preventative medicine.
It's not even preventative. It's like the laws that they're trying to make with having less sugar and stuff and soda, like all of those things. Like I understand where they're coming from, but it's all, like people will do what they want to do. But I feel the same way with like cocaine and stuff is like people are going to do it, but simultaneously, like if the law like allows for it, then it's like condoning that like danger to people and others. And it's like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I think allowing it doesn't necessarily mean condoning it, but I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And maybe it's more of a sociology thing. Like maybe we figure out like what is the social aspect about cocaine that makes it so readily available, like at parties, at clubs, everywhere, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a way to minimize that somehow, or
I mean, it's straight up addictive.
I mean, it is very addictive, but it also has this like fun aspect to it. Like
people love cocaine.
It's an upper.
It is an upper, but
yeah.
So I don't know. I think there needs to be something else, because whatever we've been doing up until now hasn't really been working.
Yeah.
I mean, the same is true for like alcohol is like pretty bad too.
Yeah,
in terms of its effects.
And prohibition didn't work,
Well, that's what I'm saying is like just there's always going to be illegal activity, and when prohibition was going on, liquor was dangerous. The production and distribution of liquor was dangerous. There was a lot of crime. People were murdered.
Yeah. In short, legalize coke. That's what we need in this country.
I don't know if that will help though.
No, but the problem is the cartels and stuff are in the politicians' pockets. Like there's corruption is so widespread.
Yeah, so they're not going to legalize it because it's not going to benefit whoever's paying them.
Yeah, exactly. So so coke, obviously the origination of like this boom happened in Colombia, and then all the cartels in Mexico, all of a sudden now their job became just getting it from South America into the United States.
Yeah.
So they're professionals. I mean, like the tunnels that they build, like Elon Musk would be jealous of the tunnels that these Mexicans are like building and getting the drugs over.
High speed rails.
Yo, you want LA, like these guys are on motorcycles underneath the earth. That's why like a wall wouldn't mean anything. Like,
oh, I saw that in Fast and Furious. One of them. I think it was 7.
To be fair, I think that the Mexicans Trump was afraid of was Louis C.K. So that's pretty fair, I think.
Though I feel like Donald Trump has had his fair share of cocaine and has been around it, or at least provided it to his models that he seduced at some point.
I mean, you don't think it's around still?
I'm sure it is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't drink, right? He just does, like, I've only heard the coke thing.
Just eats hamburgers and Mexican
Kentucky
taco
fried
salads.
chicken.
Did you guys ever see that question?
The taco salad.
The taco salad one? Oh.
He also had like a Hindi commercial. He was trying to like reach out to Indians or whatever. It was trash.
Really?
Surprisingly, there are Indian Americans who like have voted fairly conservative.
Because all those gold, it's so beautiful.
I have no idea.
There's a lot of a lot of Indians in American politics are kind of trash.
Yeah, Hassan went over it in Patriot Act because I was also thinking that. I'm like, there's so many ones that are like getting notoriety, and they're awful people.
Yeah.
Like, why them?
I don't know. Where's Bobby Jindal these days? Anyone know?
Trying to bleach his skin, probably.
He was running for president, right? Like he was trying to.
Oh yeah,
He was trying to get the
but what
Republican.
happened after that? I mean, that ended, and then he disappeared,
and then we buried him.
and then we buried him.
Just where he deserved to go. That's crazy.
So your family's in politics in Mexico. Did you ever have any interest in getting into politics here in the States?
I'm very big into local politics. So
Okay.
like, so I'm from Pomona, which is like kind of, that's what they consider like the border of like the Inland Empire to like the rest of everything, like the San Gabriel Valley or whatever. So over there, like,
Is Pomona considered IE? Where is
it's technically considered SGV, which is like
San
San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah.
And it's the second biggest city behind Pasadena.
okay?
And it's like a microcosm behind Pasadena, like in terms of like population size. Like
Yeah.
but I feel like Pasadena is like a commuter spot, so that's understandable.
Yeah.
But Pomona's huge, but I was really big in the local elections. So my dad is like one of the guys, like he runs a like kind of like a veterans lodge. Like
Okay.
so that's where all the
Do
politicians.
they do comedy shows there?
They don't, and I've done shows there before, like music shows, and I kind of want to bring a comedy show there.
Yeah,
but
I've done a few of those like elk lodges and veteran lodges. And stuff. They're always a lot of fun.
They are, but they could just be like really hardcore conservative. Like the people
Yeah.
at this one are like
Yeah.
old white people.
I don't mind that. I
Yeah.
don't mind that.
Yeah, I cannot play for those crowds.
I have fun
It's
with
hard.
those crowds. I
Really?
do. I do have fun with those crowds. It's a politically correct liberals, the politically correct white liberals who are afraid to say anything or
Yeah.
laugh at anything. Those are the ones that I get really annoyed at because it's like you can't enjoy any level of entertainment without being offended. Just
Yeah.
don't come to live entertainment.
Exactly.
You know?
Just stay home and watch YouTube.
Yeah,
which
do
is
that.
what you deserve to do.
But
do
still
that.
follow me.
So I had a podcast so I used to run my college radio station, and
Okay.
I had a show that was like one of the bigger shows on there, and the guy was running for mayor, asked me to come on the show. I was like, cool, of course. So I interviewed him, and like we talked, and to this day, me and him are good buddies. He ended up getting elected as mayor,
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey.
but I felt bad because the incumbent mayor was a family friend.
Oh.
So I kind of helped the other guy win, but I like the other guy better, so it doesn't matter.
So are your buddies? Is he still the mayor?
He's still the mayor. There was a whole thing where we were talking about doing a Pomona festival, like trying to do like music and comedy and everything. And I'm very much involved like with him. He kind of considers me like his connection to like the youth and like the area and stuff. So it's really cool, but it's just it's so weird when you get to like entertainment on a citywide thing, because it's just like they want very particular people, like super
Yeah.
clean,
Yeah.
super that. And I'm like, yeah, those are none of my friends. I was like, none of us.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Everybody. I know so many people that surprise me that of like their clean act or their corporate act. So I think if you were
Yeah.
interested, you just ask around and
Yeah.
find
out.
people for sure.
But I'm trying to build that city up because it's cool, because a lot of people will go to like the high desert and stuff, and it's kind of like an access point of it's only 30 minutes to like an hour east of LA, like with traffic. So I mean, Fizza did the room like that I run out there.
Oh, it was
Donovan's
really
Pub.
fun.
Yeah, it feels like a little slice of LA in there. So I've tried to bring comics out there. Kurt Metzger's done it.
fun.
Sean Grant's done it. Like it's been
What's
really
this
cool.
called? What's your room called?
So it's at O'Donovan's Pub,
Okay.
which is the last Wednesday of every month. And then my show's called I Don't Know You Either, because I got a lot of hate for I used to put my name, and it's actually from a Hannibal Buress CD, but I used to put my name on a lot of flyers, and then I would get messages like, who are you? Like, why would you put your name on a flyer? And then I would just be like,
Were these other comics?
it was some were other comics, some were just people.
Why would you put your name on a flyer? That's the purpose of a flyer.
Yeah.
What are you
well,
talking about?
I think they mean so like I don't put it like it's small on the bottom. Like I'll have it like I Don't Know You Either with Paul Antonio.
Hell
So,
yeah.
Because
That's
you're
great.
running the show.
That's
Yeah.
great marketing.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like a bunch of haters
It is
Yeah.
a bunch of
trying
haters.
to take
how
people
Tyler
down
Perry
a peg. Yeah.
made
Yeah.
his name.
And some of those people were like from my first experience, like in Hollywood and LA. Like it's
Yeah.
those people messaging me. So, but they used to tell me all the
And
time.
none of those people are doing comedy, probably.
No, none at all.
Exactly.
But a lot of those people used to tell me they're like, these people don't know who you are. And then I was like, well, I don't know them either.
Well,
So-
now they do because they read your name.
yeah, hopefully, or like doing like all these podcasts. I'm like
Yeah.
hoping. I'm like, I need to pull more than 13 people at Claremont Flappers. That doesn't exist anymore. That's what I need.
Wait, what happened with the
dope.
Claremont Flappers?
Shut down.
They're closed for renovations, but they're probably never going to open up again.
Like forever?
I mean, that's what the rumor is. That
Okay.
they're closed forever because they got like a killer deal on rent. Well, this is super like inside comment, but
Okay.
like
Yeah.
they had like a killer deal on rent. But now that that's gone, there's even a bigger need because the only thing we have out there is the Ontario Improv. That's like the IE spot.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
at
a good
mall.
room too, but it's also massive.
It's also massive, yeah. I feel like they only book like ethnic comics out there too. Like whether it's like, and I'm talking about like there's not a lot of the comics that you'll see in like LA, like white comics and stuff that go out there. It's
Yeah,
because
those guys go to Irvine.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
That's
just
true.
a demographic.
It's true. But
I've been booked. You know what? I've actually been booked in Ontario more than Irvine, which is actually, you're right. It's not surprising.
As we continue the list of places Pallavi's never been.
As if our listeners care. As if our listeners
know,
care.
right?
How
I'm
many
with you,
listeners do we have
listeners. I don't
in
know what
Southern
the fuck they're
California?
talking about either.
hey, we gave them cartel talk with Paul.
Yeah, cartels.
Yo, I looked it up. That kid was like 37, the guy who got shot in from the Netflix scout or whatever. It was like his body and car were riddled with bullets. It was crazy.
Oh no, they'll cut they'll do. I don't even want to describe it. They'll do horrific things to your body.
There's no mercy.
No
right?
mercy. No.
It's ruthless.
I don't understand people like that.
Well, when
That's wild.
someone gets in the way of your money
Yeah.
and your
Yeah.
drug money and you're like already trained to like kill.
There's no room for empathy there.
Yeah.
That's just not how they operate.
Yeah, and it's glorified. That's the thing that sucks, and that's the only thing I don't
Is
like
it like
about Narcos.
it's a trophy thing, right?
Well, it's all fear based. It's respect based on fear.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. But you see these people walking around with like big belt buckles and like, everybody, a bunch of women underneath their arms. And you look at it, like if you're a child in a poor area of Mexico, you're like looking at these guys and you're like, I want to be that,
But also it's not just respect based on fear. What they'll do is they'll take a lot of that money and they'll put it back into like certain towns for them to shut up. So
Yeah.
they'll like give a lot of money back to certain areas and then they'll win over like the hearts by feeding those people.
Yeah.
And then those people don't care that they do all these other things.
Pablo Escobar used to blow up random civilians, and there are still like communities named after him in Colombia to this day.
Because of how much money he brought them.
Yeah, and there's people who, because they look at him like Robin Hood, but it's also like, no, he was killing kids and women.
He was causing
Yeah.
the damage, then coming in and saving them, quote unquote.
Did you guys also see the hippos thing? With Pablo Escobar had all these like wild, like crazy animals at his place in Colombia. And he had these hippos. He brought these hippos. And after his death, they escaped and went wild and like procreated. And then they just like ran rampant. There's like a huge hippo problem.
There's a hippo problem.
Yeah.
Where is this? Medellin?
I'm not quite sure. I think they were running the place for a while.
Where was I? I was in Bogota and Barranquilla and Cartagena, and I did not see any hippos running wild. So
February 20th, Euro News. Colombia declares war on Pablo Escobar's hippos.
So dramatic.
It's true. Those things are ruthless. One of my favorite quotes from the newest Narcos is like, so the leader of the Sinaloa cartel goes to Colombia to talk to Pablo Escobar. And Pablo's saying like, if you don't accept my deal, I'm gonna feed you to my hippos. And then afterwards he goes, would you really feed me to my hippos? And he goes, Colombians don't like Mexicans. He's like, hippos don't like Mexicans either.
Yeah.
So this whole time I'm like, I'm gonna go to the zoo and protest.
Whoa, hippos
do
are
not like
ruthless.
No, hippos are terrifying.
Oh
They're
my
like,
goodness.
yeah, a lot of people die from hippos.
They're that violent.
Yeah, they're
I
very
mean,
aggressive.
they're carnivores, right?
They're one of the most aggressive animals in the world and the deadliest in Africa for humans with an average of 50 deaths per year.
I'm surprised how little
That's
I
the
knew
World
about
Health
hippos.
Organization.
Because elephants are really sweet.
But
Hippos look cute, but they're hella mean.
I don't want to give Colombia a bad name because I've been there and there's no hippos really running around as far as I saw. And I didn't see, I mean, yeah, cocaine was super cheap.
Isn't
but
it
like,
very specific
felt
to an
safe.
area?
Yeah, it says there's more than 40.
He had his
Anywhere.
like paradise thing. I forgot what it was called, but he had his like little paradise where he had like his own private
He
zoo.
had
It's like in that
elephants, giraffes, rhinoceros.
Wait, were they like in the same cities you
Hacienda
visited?
I have no idea.
area. I don't think so. I
Where-
think it's
where
the
is
city
this?
started with
It
an
was-
N, right?
His vast ranch, the Hacienda Napoles.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Napolis. Where is that?
Napolis.
Napoles, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So not in the major cities.
They
of
crossed the
Colombia.
gates of the Hacienda to freedom in the Magdalena River, where the population is increasing uncontrollably.
Yo,
And unlike in Africa, they don't have natural predators.
Those hippos are getting it on.
Yo. They have no natural enemy there.
yo, if I ever get money, will you guys visit me on my hacienda? I would love to
Yeah.
have a
Hell yeah.
hacienda.
Only if you got hippos, though.
Only if I got hit. They don't like Mexicans.
I mean-
I'm not going to support that type of hatred.
Are you going to do backyard comedy shows at your hacienda?
Zara trying to get booked.
I'm just gonna
trying to get booked.
Yo, I've never been to the Hacienda. Who books that?
That sounds like a great comedy club, actually.
Yeah,
the Hacienda. Yeah,
the Hacienda of comedy. I think you sparked an idea. That's what I'm gonna do.
Ha-ha's at the Hacienda.
The Hacienda.
Oh,
That's
man.
hilarious.
I think Jack from the Ha-Ha is going to be pissed if we do that.
No. Watch out, Jack. We're coming for you.
But like, if we add an extra ha, it'll be different. Like the Hacienda. You see?
Or the Hacienda.
Well, Hacienda.
Hacienda.
The
3 hours later, the Hacienda.
See, the ha's are actually Morse code that will let you know the address. I'm with it. I'm all in favor of that idea.
Audience, you still with us?
We lost
Where
them.
you
We
at?
lost them. This is so inside.
I want to be known as the Hippo of comedy.
You are not at all aggressive. Are you kidding me?
Stop
I'm
it.
not aggressive. My last name.
The fool's got dimples. He's like, I want to be angry hippo.
Or me. When I was on tour with Eddie If like a couple years ago, at first he was Verdugo means my real last name Verdugo means execution.
We weren't supposed to say it.
You can mention it. You can mention it. You can mention it.
Now you want to?
No,
now
I
you want
just
to be
don't-
Paul Verdugo.
No, don't do that. Don't ever book me on your show and put me as Paul Verdugo. Just don't book me on your show, period.
Is
But-
this like a family thing? You have to keep
You don't want to do facial recognition?
your last name under wraps?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, it's a secret. But my real last
Is it
name
because
means
you're talking about the cartels and saying your last name might get you in trouble?
I need to be, yeah. There is a cartel group that's like led by the Verdugos. Like, it's
Oh.
crazy.
Wait,
but
what?
It's not related to my
And it
family.
does mean executioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family's all cholos though. So I
okay.
don't think it's a different type of messed up. But when I was on tour though, they called me executioner. They're like the executioner there, and then they realized that wasn't a good nickname for me. So then they started calling me pork bun. That was my nickname on tour.
That is kind of
right.
that's
cute.
more you than I think.
And it's because we used to do these like 4-hour long marathon sessions of podcast recording. It'd just be 4 hours. So, and I spent an hour setting up and an hour breaking down. So like we went to Pike's Market in Seattle, and
Hey.
I bought a pork bun from a stand and I just put it in my pocket because I was like, I'm gonna eat this later. So during the podcast, just in the middle of the podcast, I just took out a pork bun and started eating it.
That's where it happened.
I
Yeah.
do that shit all the time. I just bring out random food items from my purse.
So they were
How
like,
do you have garlic
trying to
edamame
snack.
in your purse?
That's
Deep
great.
fried gyoza.
So good.
You guys are smart that you have foresight to
backpack.
think about you'll be hungry later.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never do that, and then I'm hungry and I become a bitch more
It's
than
like
usual.
my only sight.
Yeah.
It's food.
you're like, I don't need glasses for my
know.
hunger foresight. Yeah, but it was crazy because he saw me pull it out and he's just like, what is that? And I was like, it's pork bun.
My namesake.
Exactly.
My future namesake.
So yeah, that for the rest of the tour I was known as pork bun. I didn't like it. He told me, he's like, I will get you tens of thousands of followers if you legally change your name to pork bun. I was like, I'm not that much
And
of a
that's why you can find him at Pork Bun.
pork bun hippo of comedy. That's my new complete title. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a thing that like unites a lot of like ethnic groups together, basically not white people, is the fact that like we had like a very strict like upbringing. Like I feel like our parents are, because like hearing the stories, because
Oh, we
I'm
trauma bond?
yeah, we
Yep.
trauma bond for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's a first. I feel like it's a first generation struggle kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
because my parents didn't know how to raise kids here. They didn't
Mhm.
grow up here, so I think they just tried to be as strict as possible,
Yeah.
and it backfired for them.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. And
But
so like my generation learned from that, and then I'm sure the second one will be better.
I also think it's like the emotional processing. Because my parents, I don't think were as strict as your guys' parents, but like their ability to like communicate and process emotions, I think was probably pretty similar.
Mhm.
But so I think that's part of it too, is that it's that generational gap of, as Fizz says, EQ.
Oh, emotional quotient. Yeah. Like, I think that sort of ideally improves with every generation. But I think like also we were othered, right? Like
Yeah.
we were minorities. I don't know if we're like combine us all. I don't know if we're minorities now, which is scaring
Yeah.
the shit out of some people. But
The guy in the parking lot for sure.
but we were like other. There is something to feeling like you're on the outskirts.
I have met like Asian people that have like grown up around like Berkeley and stuff in like large Asian communities, and they don't have that minority mentality.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. They're like more conservative with their viewpoints and stuff. And it's like a little bit, I'm like, wait a minute. but you're not white on the outside. Like, well, how are you? But yeah,
I think it's because you were never othered.
Yeah.
I think in Berkeley, in that area, in the Bay Area, there was just so many Asians.
Yeah, where's the white privilege if there aren't white people?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's your privilege now, bitch.
Exactly.
Rich privilege becomes the issue then.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to call it an issue, but maybe it is.
Because I feel like, I don't know, like in my
issue.
head, good parenting was always like it needed a little bit of fear.
Do you
Like,
think you can't be like super like friends with your kid when you're growing up, because you have to set boundaries and you have to like have rules at some point. you know?
Yeah. But also there has to be a balance, right? Like it can't all be fear. Like in my house, I think I was taught to be really afraid of both my parents in different instances, but like always afraid of my dad.
Yeah.
And then when I grew up, I'm like, you ain't shit. Like, you're dumb. Not like that dumb, but like I definitely took advantage of like both of them like trying to instill fear in me. And it's like, wait, if I'm not afraid, what are you going to do? But it took a long time for me to figure that out, that it was a fear tactic all along.
Yeah.
Where is the respect if there is no fear?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, my little brother's like that. My little brother calls out not calls out my parents, but like is like, oh, what are you guys gonna do? And then for me, I was all obedient, like growing up and stuff. It's great, but also it's crazy because like my parents. So my dad was an ex-Marine and my mom was a principal at an elementary school principal.
Oh, so there's a lot of discipline going on.
Yo, it was like going to the principal's office every night that I went home. Like it was ridiculous and stuff. But I felt like it was a good bonding thing for everybody. I was like
for the kids or
for me and my fellow like I feel like
first gens.
Yeah, like any ethnic kid that I could talk to, I was like, yeah, we could bond. Your parents beat you, my parents beat me too. Like one of those things, you know.
That fear-based thing, I think, fear-based teaching is efficient, but in the long term, I think it's just so damaging.
It is.
And then we become comics.
You did this to us.
It was all that pain that made me want to have everybody laughing.
To want me talk about
I think
masturbation.
our parents taught us that way because that's how they learned it, right?
Yeah.
I think
they were more scared of their parents than we are.
It's just generations of like fear-based parenting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I don't need to have kids. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do to that. It's just what people that's what happens. People have kids and then the kids are in therapy complaining about how their parents fucked them up, but we're all doing the best we can. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. It motivated me though to be a parent.
Zara's ovaries are screaming.
No, it's a scary thing to be a parent. I don't know if I would do it better. I probably would.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
How did it motivate you to be a parent?
I have grown up and I mean, I'm still I'm 25, so what do I know about the world? But I feel like it was very much like seeing that made me want to be, I'm going to be the best dad ever. Whenever you dealt with it, that was my reaction to it.
That's sweet.
It's bizarre now though, because I feel like the worst parents will be, and my mom was amazing, but I feel like the worst parents will be the best grandparents. And so now we have a 7-month-old in the house because we adopted my older brother's kid.
It's redemption time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just pretending to be a single dad on social media for sure.
Is it working? You getting more likes?
Not at all. Although you'd think in the Latin culture, everybody wants to help out, but it's because they all have their own kids.
That's so interesting. Why do you think that is? Because my paternal grandfather was really strict on my father, very fear-based teaching, which, was, I think, par for the course then. But his first grandkid, he was he didn't hug his kids, but his first granddaughter, he was hugging her and kissing her. What is that?
I think that's just it's not your responsibility anymore, and you expect your kids to do the fear-based, strict whatever. So then you can just be like, all right, I'm free to just spoil this shit out of this kid. But also, I think once they I see how we've grown up here and how other families do it, and the exposure, and just as progress happens with emotion and understanding stress and fear and all of that stuff, they're they tend to relax a bit. And I honestly think people just chill out as they get older. It's less high stakes for them. They're done. Their role is basically done,
Mm-hmm.
Along those lines, I feel I think it's also a relief, right? Because a grandchild is probably the last thing that you could do for them, to give them a grandchild. So once they've reached that milestone, it's okay, I've done what I needed to do as a parent, and then it's also this over, it's this joyous moment, all right, I'm done with my life milestones. I can die now.
It's that when are you going to settle? You're not settled yet. You're not settled yet. And then finally the grandkid in there, it's Done.
There's so much value placed on these milestones that I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just my wiring, but like I've never thought like, oh, I need to get married. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to probably do it when I was a kid because it was so expected. But like, I've just like, and grandchildren, like why do parents need grandchildren?
I think it's a lineage thing. It's just to carry on
my fake last name.
Yeah,
That's what we're trying
carry
to do.
on one of the girls who comes on the show is a facial recognition comedy, Monrock. She has a really funny joke where she says it's either the kid's either going to have my dad's last name or his dad's last name. So whose dad's last name is the kid going to have, and it's like, whose lineage are we like moving on?
Yeah,
Does it even matter at the end of the day? It's just,
I think it's also like
human
it's
life.
rooted. So it's like once your parents see that you've had kids, they're like, all right, they're settled, which they're not going to go crazy. They have responsibilities now, so they have to provide for those for that child. So like they're not going to like, there's no uncertainty or variables that they're as worried about.
Or they could just screw up the lives of all the kids too.
Make the next baby Hitler.
I don't know. I always enjoyed all my grandparents for the most part. They were cool.
Yeah.
But as I grew up, I realized like, oh yeah, you're the people that screwed up my parents. And now I understand why.
I didn't really get to meet my mom's parents died when she was 17 and 23. And then my dad's parents were in India. But I got to, and my grandma on that side died when I was like 5 or 6. And then my grandfather died when I was in high school, but he and I would write letters back.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, that was like a really big thing for me. And he would write letters to me and he would be like, I received your letter of nil date. And I was like, what does this mean? This is so fun. And my dad was like, he's shitting on your grammar and your letter writing capabilities. Because my dad used to write, my dad and my uncle, and they used to write letters to my grandfather. And my grandfather would like red mark them for grammar and send them back. He also had like the best handwriting. It was but I love my grandfather, but it was so funny. He was just like constantly, even as a grandparent, was like, we're going to make you better.
Yeah, now there's autocorrect. And
yeah, did you guys know like handwriting is a big thing in the subcontinent?
So big.
Like they teach you how to be great, like how to have great handwriting.
My dad's handwriting is perfect. Like he used to get hit onto the knuckles if he didn't have good handwriting, which seems contradictory.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it takes people, it took my cousins like hours to do like easy homework because they had to make sure it was like perfect handwriting in ink. So they would like constantly be just starting all over again.
Oh God.
And it was insane. And then they came to America, looked at my handwriting and were like, ew, why do Americans have such bad handwriting?
Yeah.
Well, over here we learned
is a lost art.
We learned cursive from 3rd to 6th grade and then never used it again.
They're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
They're not teaching it in a lot of curriculums.
Yeah. They're
now.
teaching emojis now. You'll learn peach in the sex class in 7th grade.
That's hilarious.
103rd.
Peach and eggplant.
Our next chapter, when to send an eggplant. All right, if you get this confirmation.
There does need to be texting etiquette.
There does.
Texting and emoji etiquette for men and women, for anyone really.
Should we do our segments?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, and it might segue into this, right?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about like family and stuff. But another thing that like listening to you guys do your podcast from my little hut in the corner that I always like to stay in.
Yeah. What's your perspective on it?
So one thing that you guys talk about that's the same in Latino families is dating, and like families always pushing like, where's your girlfriend? Where's this? Where's that? And it's like, it's insane to like hear like that. But then the email that you posted on your IG story was like,
oh my God.
It felt like it could have come from one of my family members to like.
I was saying it sounds like an auntie.
Yes.
It does sound like an auntie.
Like posture.
But I think
I think my parents sent this dude. So I got an anonymous email from Furthy Tiddlers, which is definitely a pseudonym.
that's what the guy went with, the name Furthy.
First name
Tiddlers.
Furthy, last name Tiddlers. And the subject is
That's so gross.
I know. And then the subject is unwanted advice, so at least he knows. But he did have a question mark, so there was some.
Yes, it is unwanted. We answer that for the podcast today.
But it's interesting, because we wouldn't be having this conversation if I didn't get this email. So it says, "Hey Fizza, we've met a few times and I've seen your stand-up and I think it's great," which is nice. I hope this isn't too forward, but you don't know how well we know because you don't know how well we know each other. But I happen to know 3 eligible guys that have consecutively mentioned you, and whenever I suggest they approach you, all 3 of them have had the same issue holding them back. If you're straight, and would be interested in connecting with a guy. And I know this sounds judgmental, but I'm really just saying it as a friend who thinks you're great and are great looking. I think you should consider altering your look a bit to highlight your femininity. The sweat/hunched over posture comes off as unapproachable. This is my mom and doesn't do you justice. This is my mom. I understand this is weird and out of the blue, but when this third dude asked me if I know you, I thought, what the hell? What if she's over being single or looking to delete her dating apps? Have you seen my stand-up? I don't
No,
have
they've just
dating
seen
apps.
your posture. Dude,
What the hell? I have good posture. I make a freaking effort to stand straight.
I saw your
that
sweats.
that line where they were like, where was it? I think who thinks you're great and are great looking. I just think you should consider altering your look. What? What? You're not even, you don't make no sense.
Well, that's the thing is like, okay, and this is where it reminds me of my parents, is where like there's such an importance placed on being enough for getting a partner. So it's like, oh, you're not enough. That's the message that's being sent. Like you need to be like, you're not whole until you have this other person in your life.
But the priorities are all fucked up for that anyways. They're like, it's all your look and your posture. Like, fuck off. Fuck the fuck off.
Can I have a gangster lean? Goddamn.
That's in retirement homes. That's how we're rebranding it. Grandpa got that gangsta lean.
I don't get, and this is totally a male thing, I don't get dudes that really do are blunt with girl and send them I think you should fix this and that and that. I don't get.
Bitch, if I made a list about you, we'd be here all night.
I mean, look, he was acting like he was doing me a favor, hey, you should wear deodorant. Okay, I'd appreciate something like that if I smelled like shit, but you're telling me to alter my look so I can get a guy. You know, if this is coming from a good place, thank you, but also fuck you.
Yeah.
Because if you can't handle me at my platinum blonde mullet with red hair, then you can't handle me when I'm fucking
Revlon commercial.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is. There it is.
The save.
Yeah, it seems like modeling agencies are fine with Fizz's look, so fuck off.
I mean, I'm not walking in there in sweatpants.
Honestly, we talked about this.
When you want to.
But I want to. I really do.
This is a guy who is afraid to approach you. And he's like, can you look prettier so I can approach you?
But how does that make someone more approachable? That's also what I'm struggling to understand.
I don't know. I hope he gets hit by a train. I mean, if you're going to do this to somebody, go fuck off.
I think the approachability thing is that people, I feel like I've gotten the you're intimidating thing, and it's because I don't give a fuck what people think about that sort of thing, you know. So I think when guys are like, oh, you're unapproachable, it means our self-esteem is too high for you.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
I'm gonna take a different angle on this.
Let's hear Paul's perspective.
I think he's somebody who has either already been rejected by you or is somebody who has maybe not actually been rejected by you, but mentally he already thinks that you've rejected him.
Oh, it's my mom. It's definitely my mom.
So that his angle is I'm going to make her feel a type of way about herself and lower her self.
Oh, it's negging. So this is a pickup artist chapter 4 shit.
That's what it comes off as.
If you mentally feel but not have actually been rejected by Fizza, we are rejecting you now on the podcast. I feel like Fizz
never
made
show up
that
to my
clear.
show in Pomona.
That's my tip. That's my tip for today. Please do not do any sort of negging at all. Elaborate negging, simple negging, any negging. Just don't do it.
Tired, guys, we get this shit all the time. It's tiring. It doesn't make you stand out. It doesn't make us feel like you're interested. It's just fucking annoying. It's like trolling on the internet, but in real life, and we don't want to deal with you.
You're awful. I know.
You want to
It's shitty. It's I don't understand why
we're all a little triggered right now.
Well, I just don't get this. Why? To me, you should always be trying to bring somebody up. That you do. Why would you ever want to? Why would you date somebody that you put down?
Not everyone's like you, Paul.
I know.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Not everybody's
Well,
perfect.
it's sort of that fear-based thinking. Let me take them down a peg so they need me.
Yeah.
You know, so I can validate them, so I can control them.
It is a type of manipulation. It's you manipulate someone who you feel is weak in some way, and that way you become the bigger person.
Yeah.
You know.
You're like, oh, I'm going to show you how to be a lady. It's what do you know about being a lady?
And then they
it
have
has
a
to be a
dope
guy.
ass closet and great moisturizers, and you're like, damn, you really did show me how to be a lady.
I mean, can we? If it's not my mom, can we all like? Is it a fair assumption to say it's a dude?
It's a
Yes.
dude.
Who is it? Furthy Tiddlers? Girthy? I don't know.
He didn't give himself.
Wait, what's he?
Girthy Tiddlers would be a way better name.
I bet you he was like trying to find something that rhymed with girthy. I bet you like this is all calculated.
Furthy.
Yeah,
Girthy Tiddlers.
That sounds like a Muppet name.
I wonder if it's one of our stalkers. But I don't think they would go through all that.
Well,
You
they
think?
had access to my email, which is not impossible to get.
Yeah.
What's your email? Say it live.
No.
Say it on air.
I was gonna say, what's this person's
No,
email?
it's at AOL.com.
Fizza loves hippos at gmail.com.
No, I like
No.
pork buns.
Pork buns. Fizza
likes
loves
pork buns.
I like how this.
At hotmail.com.
I like also how he's phrasing it like, you know what really pushed me over the edge is when a third dude just asked me about you. I was like, dude number one,
And
dude number two.
When did he become the go-to person? Like, I'm interested in Fizzo. Let me go talk to this guy first.
No, that's what I'm like. who is this dude?
Matchmaker, make me a match.
Do
Make
guys-
me feel bad.
Paul, do guys do this?
No. Were they your dating agent? What the hell is that?
What the fuck? I can get a regular agent. She got a dating one already.
I don't know. Fizzo always starts at the top with everything.
Whatever.
Anonymous emails. Oh
That's
my
question
God.
number one. In what position are they in that people are asking them
know.
about you?
Well, that's why I
That's a lot
thought,
of bullshit.
is it a comedy community or is he just like making shit up? And it's like he has 3 personalities.
I think it's someone in comedy or like comedy adjacent, like someone who hangs in, like someone who's part of a crew or something.
But
Dane
also,
Cook.
they're probably not that. They're probably not funny.
Probably not. Honestly, I feel like any male comic who hits on or who like really tries to manipulate a female comic this way, they're not funny. And they
'Cause
should
then
just quit.
You
Just
would
quit.
You would just get women by being funny and
By being
smart,
funny, yeah. By
And,
being
like, not
funny,
shitty.
or you should be busy with your head down working. you
Yeah,
know?
the fact that they have time for this shit is wild.
Who the hell thought of like an anonymous email, went to like go create a Gmail account,
Furthy Tiddlers.
and then like this to draft this email, like this definitely takes some thought.
Can we send him a response?
Yeah, we can email him.
All right, let's do that after.
We're like, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast episode. We give you a little shout out. You're not gonna like it.
However, Furthy Tiddlers, if you do want to sponsor our next tour, let's talk.
Or if you want to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
oh wow,
The amount of times like you
That's
guys.
the thing is like he couldn't even say it to my face.
Yeah.
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 No, that is textbook fuckboy behavior, and it's funny
Yep.
because it like listening. This is what, because there are guys out there that get. I know I'm gonna go on my soapbox, but there's guys that get upset like with, oh, female. All they do is they call guys fuckboys. But I sit in the corner and I hear you guys talk about guys, and you know what I think? I'm not that guy, so I'm not gonna get offended by that because that's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You know?
the thing is, like, there are enough examples of it out there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like stuff like this happens to us every day.
And it's insane. But if you get offended
Every day.
by
Strikes a
that,
nerve. Yep.
then that's you.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, you're that person.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
that's insane to me. That was like a mature, like I felt like I was mature once I realized that. When I'm like, I'm not that person. So I'm like separate now. Although I'm going to go defend all men. That's going to be my new shirt. I'm just joking.
So for
Don't kick me off the podcast.
Oh, you're gonna be one of those male advocates now.
men's rights.
Men's rights.
Guys, I'm thinking of becoming an incel. Let me know.
You're like
do you think
applying
about
to being an
becoming an
incel.
incel?
You're like,
Exactly.
I'm just gonna stop fucking because I've been fucking a lot, so I'm just gonna not fuck as much.
you have
done.
you have to make yourself unable to fuck because
Yeah.
it's involuntary, right?
Isn't that
I
just
bet this
dudes that get their
guy's an
dicks
incel.
chopped off?
I mean,
What?
I
That's
think
an
that's another
incel.
thing.
Is that a thing?
That's a
No.
eunuch and an incel.
That's a.
I mean, look, I don't think all eunuchs
That's
are
involuntarily celibate.
all
That was-
incels are not eunuchs, but all eunuchs are incels.
Yeah.
No,
It's the raven and the crow,
no,
right?
incels,
Oh my God.
incels have a whole like violent culture.
How the hell did we get into
incels?
incels
Yeah, eunuchs
See.
are
and eunuchs?
the eunuch.
Because
I
they
know
ain't
is
getting into
peaceful.
nobody.
Oh,
Hey.
man.
I liked
hate
it.
myself.
The back door still works, no? Back door.
Yeah.
Their back door?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they stuffed it.
You think
Everybody's
that that's
back
how it
door
works? It's like,
Wait,
oh,
what?
I lost my dick. Time to take it in the ass.
Maybe it's
I'm gonna get this prostate milked. Give me a second. That's gross. I'm sorry.
a healthy prostate should feel like the tip of a nose. That's what my sister told me.
Her sister is a doctor.
Yeah, she doesn't have
Okay,
a
cool.
prostate.
I thought your sister was the guy in the parking lot.
Wait, so you could either play
Strapping
nose
it.
goes or
Prostate goes. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Zara, you're in a relationship. Let us know.
About what? The nose?
Yeah, because don't you have to start doing
How often do you milk your boyfriend's
shit to
prostate?
keep it?
How are we
keep
talking
it
about
interesting?
milking?
Yeah, I'm not there yet in my relationship.
Yeah.
We're still kind of like, and I feel like that probably happens like after marriage or something.
Oh, that's so
when
sweet.
you want to like spice
Like a
things
spice
up,
it up.
you know?
So cute. She's a traditional girl.
Yeah.
What if that's why he was dating you? He's like, she has tiny hands. He's like, this is gonna be a go.
Oh God. This is like that foot fetish.
Yeah, he's
thing.
dating Zara for her feet.
Oh my goodness.
That Zara gets.
Once a month, every
I
month,
think
someone
that's
will ask
the
Zara
grossest thing.
Yeah,
to see
I
her feet.
am repulsed by feet. Like, I don't get people who
I
have foot
hate
fetishes.
feet. I hate feet so much.
Really?
My feet
Yeah.
are
I think
mostly
they're
covered
just
most of the
feet.
time. But like, yeah, I get so annoyed when random strangers just ask to
Right?
see my
I
feet.
love a nice foot.
You love it, or you're just like
No,
Like
I
a nice lady foot or a
But,
nice like male,
yeah.
like any foot's
I mean,
good.
like if I'm dating a guy and he has nice feet, like I love it.
Describe your
Okay.
ideal male foot. I think that's what everybody wants to know.
I mean, just
who has the best foot you've ever seen?
like a guy. I don't want to call.
Guy or girl?
I can't call. Well, you have great feet.
Oh, thank
do
you.
have good feet.
You do.
Thank
They're
you.
tiny. Like that's why all like when you go to a shoe store, all the shoes are like size 5 because like
No,
No, they're
small
not.
feet look
5.5 is the
like,
first
on the
size to go.
display. On the display, right?
Are
Like they
they?
use the tiniest shoes on the display.
By the
They're
time
not
I get to
putting
Macy's,
that in. Can I be
Apps up
honest?
there.
It freaks me out a little bit when I'm at Zara's because I'm like, what child lives here? Because I see it because my feet look so big next to your shoes, and if I'm like, wait, no, those are Zara's.
Zara's shoes don't have laces. They just
I
are the
usually
pull-up
have like a
ones.
string of like 5-7 shoes just like by my door.
Which everybody does.
Yeah, but
We're
like-
Indian.
yeah,
We don't wear
but,
shoes in the house.
I do.
for everybody
You live
else,
with a bunch of white people.
for our audience, yeah, I'm like a 3.5 in boys, a 5.5 in women. So it's like I have small feet.
3.5.
Yeah, some of my sneakers are boy sneakers
Jeez.
because they're cheaper.
I wear a size 13.
Damn.
I feel like I wear 3.5 of your feet.
Yeah, my boyfriend wears like a size 12, 13. So
That's crazy.
it's kind
I
of
was-
weird.
I was thinking
sometimes.
when Zara was like carrying her backpack around New York, which I usually do. I was thinking like it must be so much easier to travel because all your clothes are way smaller. It's like like literally like less physical stuff.
She
for
looks
you
like
to,
Dora the
yeah.
Explorer.
I was Dora the
I'm like,
Explorer.
With her boots?
It's like backpack.
And it's like
backpack.
You
not
pulled
as
that
much
off.
material.
It was my back hurt. My back hurt for a
It
good
hurts.
5 days after.
It really
that
does
trip.
Nomad style.
That's how I am all the time. I always have
Yeah.
my backpack in it. My back always hurts.
Yeah.
I bring my heating pad with me on trips now.
That's a smart idea. So I don't
It's
think
more
people
weight to
understand the life of comics. When we're in a different city doing comedy, a lot of the times we have like crash pads. We're like sleeping on people's couches. So sometimes you have to carry all your belongings on you. So we're carrying around these huge like hiker backpacks throughout Manhattan, throughout like really any city, and it takes a toll.
I'm kind of like that here because I go to school and then I go do shows in random places and I don't have a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
car is an extension of my closet.
Yeah.
essentially.
If I had a car, it'd be like doper because I could just leave all my stuff there.
I'm gonna get you a wagon. I think
Just
that's
like
what
a
you
little
need
red
more.
wagon like
Yeah.
Matilda. Hell yeah. Like, yeah, I'll put all my books in there. It'll be cute.
Little wagon closet. That's what you need.
That'd be adorable.
That is
Lock up my wagon.
So
should we do
science
one of our
segment?
other segment?
Or
Yeah.
man crush
I
or both?
don't.
Well, the
have
science thing, you just wanted to know why sound doesn't travel in space. And it's just because there aren't like, it requires vibration through molecules and there's no like air or water in space. So,
Does
That's
it need something to bounce off of too, right?
yeah, that's, yeah.
We decided to do a sound fact because you're our audio engineer.
I have no idea about sound.
But I
I've
want
never
to.
taken a sound. This is true. I never learned like how to do sound. Like where I was never taught. Like my very first gig ever, I was on the Ian Bag show on Sirius XM. Like that was my very first gig ever doing sound. And literally they sat me behind the mixer. And this is like live going out to Sirius and stuff. And they were just like, all right, this is you. And I was like, I've never touched one before. And they're like, just don't touch anything. You'll be fine. So that's how I do
Just
sound.
don't touch anything.
I tweak a little bit and then that's it.
There are some space sounds that are really weird sounding, like Jupiter's magnetosphere, the magnetic field that extends past it, and like Saturn's radio emissions. And NASA like compiled a thing of all those sounds, and apparently it sounds super creepy.
Oh,
Yeah.
can we listen to that after?
I can try to play. Ooh,
I would love to hear.
Can we listen to it while we're writing Fizz's email response?
Oh yeah, can we send
Claire,
him
inspiration.
Oh yeah,
Sounds
we're doing
from space.
something. That's my favorite thing to do on podcasts is to just either text random people in other people's phones or like send random emails out.
Is this gonna play?
Because you never know what's going to happen.
This is Juno. This is Juno Waves electric field.
No, Paul, that's your CPAP machine. That's what that is.
burn.
So the reason that you're able to hear it is because there are molecules closer to these planets. Is that
I think, yeah, the movement of the particles in space is controlled by what's going on inside Jupiter. Yeah. It's a Juno spacecraft that was listening to Jupiter. That one was that. Ooh.
I used to listen to the Apollo 13 soundtrack. I know that's a, I know that's a stretch. And it got me very emotional when I was a young lad.
a young lad? You
That's-
still are
that's
a
my
young
contribution.
lad.
That's my contribution to the conversation. Tom Hanks, you didn't know if they were going to come back.
Yeah.
No-
Well,
no spoilers.
I mean, it was based on his.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
People don't read books. When they posted on the Narcos Net Facebook page, they said now that Pablo's dead, and
Oh,
that
shit.
Jesus Christ.
Why are
That
you
was
playing all these
creepy.
random sounds?
Because she wanted to hear them.
Do we have
These are plasma waves.
I didn't know plasma could make sounds.
It's the electrons whistling. Okay,
No.
now I can't get out of it.
That's that dude. That's that dude that emailed you trying to holler. That's what it sounds like.
Hey. Getting trapped.
Speaking of
Dudes. All right. This segment is called Man Crush. What are we? Friday? Man Crush on Black Friday. All right.
It's coming out Tuesday, right?
Yeah, it's coming on Tuesday. Whatever. Man Crush. Man Crush Corner. Okay.
Man Crush too.
Today's Man Crush goes out to inventor Phil Moore of Seaford, East Sussex. That's the UK, I think. So Phil had a problem with, actually, Phil's wife Stephanie had a problem with Phil snoring. And so for 5 years, he slept on the couch while his wife slept in their bed because he was just snored and it sounded like a train passing by. So Phil created a special pillow that's now out on markets this year, this Thanksgiving, this Black Friday, actually, that stops people from snoring. And it's out there. So Phil, thank you for making your wife's nighttime easier.
So we can.
And for everybody who sleeps with someone who snores, go out and get this pillow.
How does the pillow work?
It's just
What's the science behind
I'm
it?
not sure what the science behind it. That's not my
Probably.
corner.
Also, if they want to sponsor a podcast,
I like this little
Sponsor this
overlap. Yeah.
yeah.
it's better than the My Pillow.
I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Paul, are you drafting an email?
No, I'm actually looking at the story.
It has
But
it's
it's
a
not loading.
flexible. It's flexible with a raised center so that the people can sleep on their fronts and place their hands comfortably underneath.
Okay.
I don't know. For some reason, it's just like it raises your head, so you don't have the ability.
So
to
you're
sleep.
on your belly, and then you go like that, like you're sliding into second base.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
It
try to make
I
it
think
more
it
manly.
adjusts probably like how your nasal passageway is open or
Mm-hmm.
how it's oriented.
Yeah. Anyway, so look out for the special pillow.
He can sleep with his wife now?
Yeah. Seems like they're back to sleeping together. Yeah.
The
So it's an
pillow
ideal
save?
pillow for side sleepers, front sleepers, and back sleepers.
And
Anyone?
for prostate milking,
Yes.
you can just bend over and slide your hands under the pillow.
Face down, ass up.
There you go.
That's the way
Oh,
we like to sleep.
Yeah, the pillow is called More Sleep. Named after Phil Moore, who is the inventor of the pillow. So yeah, go check it out, go find it, and make your partner's life easier.
It's our man crush.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. Wouldn't you crush on an inventor who would keep the world from snoring? That's great.
Have you
I
guys
guess.
been with someone who snores?
Yes. It's
Oh,
awful.
yeah.
It is awful.
I don't think people think that with sleep apnea that you snore a lot, and I guess some people do, but I think I snore like irregularly. Like I don't think I have like a snoring problem, but I have been with people who also snore like irregularly. Like it's not a.
Yeah.
But my dad, oh man, my dad has crazy snoring problem. My mom used to like wake him up and be like, "Go sleep outside," and he was like, "I was asleep.
outside?
Why didn't you move?"
Like outside the house?
like on the couch.
Is that loud?
It's
but
just white
so,
noise.
It's so loud
It's
you can
white
hear
noise.
it throughout the whole house.
Go
Like-
sleep in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, oh man, it was
That's
wild.
really frustrating. I have like maybe 5-6 girlfriends who complain about this, like their husbands or boyfriends snore, and like the women end up sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
And I find that so frustrating. Like,
Well,
shouldn't it be the person that's like, causing this pain in your life?
But it's also like not their fault either.
Well, if people have been complaining about it, maybe it's something you should get checked out.
Yeah, you should 100% get it checked out for
Get
sure.
a pillow.
Yeah, or get a pillow. The more sleep pillow.
But it became a thing where like once I like it was like it ended up being like a thing where I was trained to feel like comfort that my dad was in the house. So then I was like, oh, like now it is like white noise, like the sound of the ocean.
What if you hear it now and it's like there's no dudes around and you're just like, oh, I feel wait,
it was me the whole
and it's a horror movie.
Oh no.
Let's write a horror movie. Okay, after this we're writing the email and then a horror movie.
A loud place.
Let's just make it a play. Let's get artsy with it.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Hell yeah.
I got time. I was like, I got nothing but time.
Cool.
I did that young person thing of like moving in with my girlfriend when I was like 21, and so like we lived in like we slept on a twin mattress.
Ooh.
Like both of us on the twin mattress. We're like, this is gonna keep us close together. No. I think it ruined the relationship.
That's really close quarters.
Yeah, it was either that or the Winnie the Pooh comforter. It was one of the two.
That's cute.
It did feel like a little kid room.
Yo, I just found out Winnie the Pooh's a chick. What?
What?
Yeah, I was at the
Just
show
walking
Blame
around with no
Social
pants?
Media. Yeah. And I found out she's a lady. Isn't that weird?
What?
What?
Hashtag ban crop tops. I'm for
I
it.
don't understand.
Winnie.
How did we not know this?
I didn't know this.
Did they ever use the pronoun? So I didn't know Winnie used the pronoun she, her.
I don't
hers.
know. Somebody said,
Winnie
yeah, I
is
was at a
non-binary?
show and it was Blame Social Media, which is an amazing show at
Yeah.
the Improv. And they we were talking about Winnie the Pooh and then everyone in the crowd yelled at me. They're like, yeah, it's a woman. I was like, what? Everyone was yelling at me. I was like, how did
Progressivism has
everyone
gone
know
too far.
I don't believe it. I don't remember this at all.
I thought Winnie was a dude.
Winnie the Pooh is actually a girl. Winnie the Pooh gender revealed. 17 magazine.
I mean, it's a fair thing because like there's no genitals,
There's no genitals.
and she's
Winnie's an incel.
she
Not
always
wearing
trying to
pants.
get that honey. You think she's lesbian?
I mean, I thought she was a straight man, but I guess she's a little.
Those are the best types of lesbians. The ones that look like straight men.
It says Winnie the Pooh is referred to as a he in the books. The bear was actually inspired by a female bear.
Okay, yeah. See, I feel like I would
There
have
you
remembered the pronouns.
Yeah.
Zed.
So Winnie is a dude inspired by the character. The male character is inspired by a female what?
A female bear? This, you know what? We're going to look into this and we're going to get back to you, audience, as the plot thickens on this Winnie the Pooh mystery.
Why is everybody trying to like fuck all these like cartoon characters and stuff, like Bert and Ernie and everything? It's like, but who are they fucking though? It's like they just exist.
Each other. That's the story.
Yeah, but then they came out because
I mean, they were roommates for a reason.
The famous quote was, "They don't have genitals; they're puppets." That was my favorite. That one of the creators said, because they're
Yeah,
only from
man.
the body.
Yeah, I believe that.
He gave him a whisker burn. One of them
Stop.
Oh my god.
rode that unibrow or what? What's up? Hashtag Muppet.
You're a little too high if you're riding the unibrow. No,
It's an
the booty.
actual bear. Sorry.
The booty.
The booty.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Do we have any more segments? Should we do the
Daisy stuff.
Daisy segments?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, Paul.
Oh, am I supposed to remember what the
Hey,
question
Paul.
is?
This is a safe space, Paul.
Oh shit.
Do you have any questions about Desi culture?
Or South Asian culture?
Oh shit. I had a good one and I forgot it.
Is it about food?
Oh no, this is my question to you guys because as the resident Latino of the studio, I live here. People always confuse me for like
Tell
being
the Korean man.
as the Jewish man that lives in the studio. No, but people always confuse me for like being Middle Eastern. So I'm wondering if people ever confuse you guys for other ethnicities.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
What do you guys get though?
I get Hispanic. All variations of Hispanic. I actually enjoyed my trip to Colombia a lot because it was the first time in my life.
You could
Where-
pass
Yeah.
as Colombian.
It was.
for
I
sure.
fit in so great. It was great. No one asked me who I am, where'd I come from. You know, so it was
Where are you
great.
really
No one
from?
asked
Where are
why
you really
why you're
from?
recording in the bathroom. Nobody asked those questions.
Yeah. So I get Hispanic a lot. I've also gotten like biracial. like black and white. I've gotten that out here in LA. Not
get that.
not like back east, but out here I've gotten it for some reason. I've gotten East African. I've gotten Indian, that's a common thing. I've gotten Persian out here a lot.
You get Indian, Middle Eastern, Arabic.
Yeah. All those things.
Yeah. And then I get the black a lot, especially since I cut my hair. I get that a lot now. But
I have a joke in my act about like ever since I started doing stuff in LA, like I lost being Mexican because nobody thinks I'm Mexican anymore because I'm not an LA Mexican. Like I'm not 5 foot tall, like working, like chopping fruit on the corner. So I lost that. So
what do they think you are?
And this is one of the jokes that I tell, but I just tell them I'm marketable. I'm like whatever you want, whatever you want me to be.
Ethnically ambiguous.
Yeah.
I'll learn a dialect.
I get mostly like Arab, Middle Eastern. Sometimes people are surprised when they hear I'm Indian.
I hate
Persian. I get Persian.
Yeah.
Pakistani.
People get offended when they ask me if I'm Indian. I'm like, no. They're like, bitch, you lying. I'm like, what?
Why you gotta be a bitch?
I'm like, what? Why would I lie to you about
and then
that?
They tell you, they try to like rationalize their ignorance too.
I've gotten Egyptian a few times too.
Somebody was like, I legit thought you were like Arabic or whatever, and then they like try to like get other people to be like, yeah, we thought it's like Middle Eastern. I'm like, it's not. Like you can.
It's not going to change your ethnicity.
You can try to argue your way out of this, but I just look at a map.
I did that with a friend, but I thought he was gay. Like the whole time, I was like, "Oh, you're gay," and then it just came out, and he's just like, "I'm not gay."
That's so
it's the same
funny.
thing, right?
Whenever my dad does this, whenever he sees like a pretty woman on TV or something, he's like, she must have some Arab in her. I'm like, what? That's
the black thing.
Yeah.
It's like they'll hit on me and then they'll be like, you have to be part black. You can't just be Indian.
Who's the famous actress? I can't. The doe-eyed. She was in Ocean's 8. She had that makeover TV, not the makeover TV show, the makeover movie.
Wait, what?
You know, brunette.
Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. My dad swears that she has some Middle Eastern in her. He's like, no, her eyes are too big to be completely white. And I'm like, Dad, not everyone with big eyes is Middle Eastern.
What's this Desi Muslim obsession with having Middle Eastern roots? It's like, look, our grandparents, or not grandparents, our ancestors were probably Hindu.
Yeah.
God forbid.
Yeah. I have that fight with my dad a lot, and he was like, yeah, but your roots are from Iraq. I'm like, yeah, but my skin tone says otherwise. You know?
Do you guys ever get proud of like people that are like your same ethnicity? Like I always look for like I was so happy when I found out Louis was Mexican until recently. Like it all changed.
You were excited Louis C.K. was Mexican
before the whole jerking off thing. Because I was like, yeah, Mexican. Like Tom Segura is Peruvian.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I'm like, Latinos, we're killing it.
Yeah,
but on the low.
We have that too. That's like why we're doing this. We're like really excited when people win, you know, and like they're out there and they're like changing hearts and minds.
Yeah, you got to promote. I always been telling people that Coco was our Black Panther.
That's a great movie. It's a great movie.
I cried.
Oh, dude, I cried yesterday.
Too. Yeah. But no, I mean we get so excited as a group. We do a Women Crush Wednesday, like always showcasing like whatever, you know, awesome thing one of our comics has going on. Like we love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, why not be supportive? Yeah.
Be prideful.
Yeah, because if you win, like we're all that, like that just opens the door for all of us a little more, you know?
Yeah, there's so much empathy. There's so much like understanding of like the struggle and like all the, you know, like you don't have to explain things. And so you see somebody in that position, you're like, I know that their presence there is just advocating for us.
And it's inspiring for everyone who like doesn't think it's possible. Like, oh, I don't see someone like me out there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, someone like you is out here doing it.
Yeah, it's your people. You understand the come up. One of my favorite moments was like, so for my birthday show, I had Kurt Metzger come and do the show. And it was the first time that I had ever done stand-up in front of my parents. And these are like strict, like Latino parents.
This is in Pomona?
It's in Pomona. My parents are kind of whitewashed though, but like this is like, they're very strict. And I was talking to him, I was like, yeah, this is the first time that my parents are going to watch me do stand-up. And he told me, he's like, ew. He's like, do you jerk off in front of them too? He's like, that's so gross. So I was like, you don't get it. And I was like, you don't get it. But yeah, like you feel that, you're like, I understand your childhood. That's why I feel like Latino comics have a big Latino audience that's like very strong and they're always supportive and stuff. It's because we have such a unique upbringing, but we could still relate to everybody that like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're like
I
suckers.
will
for it.
say, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, it's there. Having grown up without like brown role models on television, I didn't realize what I was missing in terms of being able to relate to someone. On like I'm watching that. What's the new Hassan Minaj show?
Patriot Act.
Patriot Act.
Like I love it. Just because there are some references to things that
He don't
make you
give
feel
a
nostalgic.
fuck.
Yeah.
He just puts all the references in there. It's great.
And it's just like, oh well, this is new for me.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's good.
Cool.
But also simultaneously, if you are brown, that don't mean I relate to you. Like Bobby
Yeah.
Jindal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn, we really are different people.
Bobby Jindal is one of those exceptions, though. Like for the
It's
most
few,
part,
yeah.
I mean,
Wait, you guys aren't Bobby Jindal.
We're not as fair and lovely
He
as
should
he
be on your
thinks
next.
he
He
is.
should be on your next West Side show.
Our host.
Bobby Jindal, if you want to come host facial recognition comedy,
That'd be so
Go fuck yourself.
He wrote you that email. It was from Bobby Jindal.
Fix
He's
your
like-
he's trying to make a comeback. Okay.
He's had a few friends approach him. Wait, who is your favorite South Asian celebrity?
Okay, so I want to give a shout out to somebody that we know. That's Rami Youssef. because he's killing
Yay,
it,
you're doing
and I
it.
love him.
Is he South Asian?
He's Egyptian, but
Oh, then it doesn't
fine.
count.
he's a friend and a great comic,
we
and
love
we're
Rami.
happy for you, Rami, if you're listening.
But somebody that I do adore is do you guys know Just Rain?
yes.
Yeah, I love Just Rain.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I love the Vine. He's like a Vine guy, YouTube guy, that
Vine
kind of stuff.
YouTuber, really funny dude. He is like one of the original brown kids on YouTube, and he has a huge following. He's from Canada, from Toronto. He's Sikh, so he wears a turban, and
Does he do stuff with Lily Singh all the
yeah,
time?
they do stuff together. But yeah, he's super funny dude.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's mine.
Hey,
There's my deep cut.
That is
I'm
a
not-
deep
Came
cut. Look at
prepared.
you.
I'm not going to fumble until I get to Hassan Minaj.
If,
Putting all of your previous guests on blast.
if anyone of our listeners know Just Rain, or if Just Rain hears this, come on our podcast and come host our show. We'd love to have you.
yes, and we actually meant that one that time.
We did. We absolutely
Just Rain
did.
or Bobby Jindal, whoever's available.
I would have
They'll
Bobby
take either
Jindal
one.
on the
Yo,
podcast.
or if we do a show in Toronto,
Yeah.
we'd love to have
Yeah.
if we can work it out with Just Rain. To have
He's
him
the
host.
OG Drake.
Yeah, he is. He's the OG Drake. He's the Drake of Punjabis
Wait.
in Toronto.
Like who decided?
I don't know.
Me.
We just called him that.
Me, pork bun.
Yeah, but this
Pork
guy
bun.
has like so much Toronto pride. Like that city comes out in droves for that guy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks,
Good
Paul.
choice. Thank
There you
you.
go.
Thank you for giving us a new
I
one.
know. I brought one.
Good job.
Yeah.
I've been planning on this for 30 something episodes.
And now we're canceled.
Oh,
I'm
no.
kidding. All right, cool. Where can we find you?
You could find me at the studio. I'm here 24/7, and just in case you guys want to record a podcast. On social media at the Paul Antonio. The shows that I'm promoting is last Wednesday of every month in Pomona at O'Donovan's Pub. Come out. It's always I bring my homies from LA. Fizz has done it. I hope you guys do it.
Yeah,
One
let me
day.
know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have you guys on the show. Yeah, but that's the last Wednesday, and yeah, at the Paul Antonio. Oh, also my podcast on the CPU Podcast Network. Listen to Spaced Out. It's a
Spaced
good one.
out.
We talk about like we go there. Like a lot of like comics are too afraid to talk because they're my image. No, we're gonna talk about the shootings and we're gonna talk about we're gonna go deep on everything and we're just gonna have a good time. It's me and my buddies, Carl Spitali, who's a former NFL player. Now he's a comic. He's a great impressionist. And Atalia Price, who's like the young kid from USC, who's like she's only like 21 and stuff. So we don't relate to each other at all. So we just yell at each other. And she's very hardcore feminist. And yeah, I think Carl's an incel.
Oh,
So
God.
I want to put that out there.
Incel NFL player? Fuck. Scary.
He got,
That's yeah.
he's got all the hormones.
Damn. Anyways, you can find us at facialrecognitioncomedy.com, at Facial Recognition Comedy on Instagram and Facebook, and at Facial Rec Comedy on Twitter. We have our show the second Sunday of every month. This December's show is the Zara show.
Yay. It's happening, you guys.
We got some 4 Zaras in comedy right now.
Yes, it's going to be the Zara edition of Facial Recognition Comedy will be
December 9th.
December 9th, 9 p.m. at Westside Comedy Theater. That's behind the promenade. So come out. It's going to be fun. We're going to show everyone why we're not the same Zara.
And also Fizza and I will be there.
That's
Like
hilarious.
Fizza has a Z and an A in her name.
Come out, support. It's going to be a fun show.
We have found
also-
37 of the hottest Zaras in LA to put before you on stage.
Also, if your name is Zara, come to the show anyway.
Yeah, meet more Zara.
Half off tickets.
Me who stole your social media handles.
Yes, if you've stolen my social media handles, come. I'll be nice to you. Maybe.
Also, we're going to be at Sketch Fest, y'all,
That's in San Francisco.
on January 19th
Yes.
at 8 p.m. at Cafe du Nord. And last year, that was like our third show and it was sold out. And that
Sold
was
the
like
fuck out.
that was like a big determinant of, I think, how this year went. It was like
Yeah.
a really good success at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was super fun. We met a bunch of fans. One of the fans came to a show that I did in the Bay Area, and we met him at Sketchfest last year.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. Speaking of your social media handles,
Oh, my social media handles are really Zara. Zara is spelled Zahra.
my social media handles is my name, Paula Viganalan, PallaVigunAlan, and that's my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, my website.
And I'm at Fizza Dasani. I'll spell that for you. FIZAADOSANI on Twitter, Instagram, FizzaDasani.com, and at the Fizza 1Z2As on Facebook.
Check out our podcast videos on patreon.com/facial recognition comedy and rate